Minru stepped into the office, her heart racing with excitement and nervousness. It was her first day at her dream job, and she couldn't wait to prove herself. As the weeks went by, Minru found herself swamped with work. Not just her own tasks, but also those of her senior colleagues. "Minru, could you help me with this report?" Sarah, a coworker, would often ask. "Of course," Minru would reply, even though she had her own deadlines looming. Another day, Tom approached her desk. "Hey, newbie, can you run these copies for me?" "Thanks." Minru nodded, afraid to say no and risk upsetting her colleagues. She didn't want to be seen as unhelpful or lazy. As days turned into weeks, Minru found herself staying later and later at the office. She'd watch her coworkers leave at 5 p.m. while she remained glued to her chair, trying to finish her own work after helping everyone else. One evening, as the clock struck 8:30 p.m., the office was nearly empty. Minru rubbed her tired eyes, her computer screen blurring before her. She didn't notice her manager, Mr. Chun, walking by. Mr. Chun stopped, surprised to see someone still working. "Minru, what are you doing here so late?" Minru jumped, startled by his voice. "Oh, Mr. Chun, I'm just finishing up some work." Mr. Chun frowned, pulling up a chair. "This isn't the first time I've seen you here after hours. Is everything okay?" Minru hesitated, then decided to be honest. "Well, I've been helping my colleagues with their tasks, and then I have to stay late to finish my own work." Mr. Chun nodded understanding. "I see. And why do you feel you need to help everyone?" "I don't want to say no. I'm afraid they'll think I'm not a team player or that I'm lazy," Minru admitted, her voice small. Mr. Chun smiled kindly. "Minru, being a good team player doesn't mean saying yes to everything. It means doing your part well and helping others when you can, without sacrificing your own work or well-being." "But how do I say no without offending anyone?" Minru asked. "Let me share some tips with you," Mr. Chun said. "First, it's okay to say no sometimes. You can be polite but firm. For example, you could say, 'I'm sorry, but I have a tight deadline for my own project right now. Maybe I can help another time." Minru nodded, listening intently. Mr. Chun continued, "Second, prioritize your tasks. If someone asks for help, assess whether you have the time. If you don't, it's okay to explain that you're currently swamped." "That makes sense," Minru said, feeling a weight lift from her shoulders. "Third," Mr. Chun added, "if you do have time to help, set clear boundaries. You could say, 'I can spare 30 minutes to help you with this.' Will that be enough?" Minru smiled, feeling more confident already. "Fourth, don't be afraid to ask for help yourself if you're overwhelmed. We're a team after all," Mr. Chun said with a wink. "Lastly," he concluded, "remember that your work-life balance is important. Staying late every day isn't healthy or productive in the long run." Minru felt a wave of relief wash over her. "Thank you, Mr. Chun. I'll try to implement these tips starting tomorrow." "Good," Mr. Chun said, standing up. "Now pack up and go home. It's late, and you deserve some rest." The next day, Minru arrived at work feeling refreshed and determined. When Sarah approached her desk with another request, Minru took a deep breath. "Sarah, I'd love to help, but I have a pressing deadline today. Maybe we can check in tomorrow and see if I have some free time then." To Minru's surprise, Sarah nodded with understanding. "Of course, Minru. I didn't realize you were so busy. Good luck with your deadline." As the days passed, Minru found herself leaving work on time more often. She was still helpful to her colleagues, but she learned to balance it with her own responsibilities. Her work improved, and she felt less stressed. One evening, as Minru was packing up to leave at 5 p.m., Mr. Chun stopped by her desk. "How are things going, Minru?" he asked with a smile. Minru beamed. "Much better, Mr. Chun. I'm getting my work done, still helping when I can, and I have time for myself in the evenings. Thank you for your advice." Mr. Chun nodded approvingly. "I'm glad to hear it. Remember, Minru, being successful at work isn't just about being helpful or working long hours. It's about finding balance, setting boundaries, and taking care of yourself too." As Minru left the office that evening, she felt a sense of accomplishment and peace. She had learned an important lesson. Saying no sometimes didn't make her a bad colleague. Instead, it made her a more effective, balanced, and happier employee. The moral of the story is that setting healthy boundaries at work is crucial for personal well-being and professional success. Learning to say no when necessary, prioritizing tasks, and maintaining a work-life balance are skills that can lead to a more fulfilling career and a happier life. Being a team player doesn't mean sacrificing your own needs, but rather contributing in a sustainable and meaningful way.
单字 swamp 充斥使应接不暇 verb if something swamps a person, system, or place, more of it arrives than can be easily dealt with. Looming 不希望或不愉快的事情，迫近的，逼近的 adjective of something unwanted or unpleasant, about to happen soon and causing worry. Assess 评估 verb to judge or decide the amount, value, quality, or importance of something. Overwhelm 使受不了，使不知所措 verb to cause someone to feel sudden strong emotion.